On April 14, 2012, I got to meet and interview Carl Beane as part of my ongoing master's degree program here at Boston University. It was only luck that I even got to meet Carl. He just happened to be the friend of one of my professors, Frank Shore. When Davis Van Alpdorp and I met Carl at Fenway Park, he took us upstairs to a commissary area. We set up shop and started the interview. What we got was more than we'd bargained for. It was a very pleasant and informative and instructive half an hour. I'm presenting it right now, virtually uncut, for you to enjoy. Sit back, relax, and listen to the voice of Fenway one more time. Okay, I'm with Carl Beane, the voice of Fenway. Glad to meet you, Mr. Beane. One of the things about the ball club is Fenway Park, it's the centennial, it's historic, the ball club's historic. How do you think they keep it family friendly?
Well, the ballpark's dimensions help to do that, simply because it's so small and intimate. If you love baseball, this is a place to come because you are right on top of the action. You have to pay attention because if you don't, you're going to get hit with a foul ball or something, and people have gotten nailed in this place.
Right.
There's just something about the closeness of Fenway Park and the intimacy that huge stadiums cannot offer. Plus the fact that there is a special bond here between fan and team, more so, I think, than any other certainly any other baseball team. The other thing I can compare it to would be the Brooklyn Dodgers of the 40s and 50s. There was that special bond between Brooklyn and the team. But other teams, there are other things to do in other cities. There are a lot of more famous people that may live in other cities, but baseball just doesn't have the grasp that it does here. And because of that, and especially since 1967, when things really kind of sparked then, a rekindling of the interest of the team, from then till now, it has been really amazing.
And you're a native of Massachusetts. You took up broadcasting pretty much early in your life. Who was your idol when you decided that broadcasting was, in the cards for you, that you wanted to do that?
I had many people that I admired, but the number one guy was Curt Gowdy. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And Curt Gowdy's the guy who got me started. I used to listen to him when he did the Red Sox broadcasts. I used to listen to him when he did watch him on the American Sportsman on ABC television for many, many years. And I got a chance to interview him. I think I was 6 weeks out of broadcasting school. I had landed a job in Springfield, Massachusetts, and I was to interview the Basketball Hall of Fame president, who was at the time Curt Gowdy.
Nice.
So, did an interview with him, and at the end of the interview, he said to me, "I noticed you were a little nervous. Are you new? You're new at this, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And he said, "Well, I'll tell you what. I own several radio stations. None of them, however, do sports. But if they did, I would hire you. You're on the right track. That was all I needed, is to have my ticket validated by someone of his stature."
Right.
And in the years ensuing, I made it a point to thank him whenever I saw him for my career. There are many others I listened to a lot. Johnny Most with the Celtics, and Mel Allen with the Yankees, and Ernie Harwell with Detroit, Chuck Thompson in Baltimore. These guys I listened to on the radio. I was fascinated with the radio. And every time they opened their mouths, they taught me something. They taught me about places I thought I'd never visit, about ballparks I thought I'd never see, and what the whole atmosphere was like. And I've taken that knowledge, and it's paid off big time.
Yeah, I would say a big part of the reason Fenway remains great is because it's got the atmosphere down, it's got the voice, and it's got also just, like you said, the planning and coordination.
Yeah.
What about the economic pressures, though, that have come into play? I mean, after winning 2 World Series, ticket prices increased a little bit. They've tried to renovate the place. Now that it's the centennial, there's a ton of merchandise. They put up plaques all around the stadium to show off different historical points. Do you think that threatens the atmosphere a little bit, that they're under pressure kind of to keep things going?
I don't think it threatens. It's a threat. This is the largest attended, most popular tourist attraction in all of New England, by far. And stop and think about that for a moment. New England has so many things to visit, so many historical things to see. Things happened there. And with having said that, Fenway Park is the most popular tourist attraction in the six-state region. The atmosphere, the pressure, if you want to maintain things, you have to have a good team. So it's important for the team to win. But especially this year, we're finding already that many people are coming here not so much to see the Red Sox, but they've heard of this place. They've seen it on television. They want to come here and see what it's all about. So having said that, we do want to have markers and plaques and things around so people can get a real feel of the history. This is, besides Wrigley Field, this is the only place left where Babe Ruth played, and Joe DiMaggio played, and Ty Cobb, and Walter Johnson, and Lou Gehrig, and Mickey Mantle, and Ted Williams, and right on down the line. They all played here, and it's very special when you walk out and see what's going on, and to see and to know who's been on that field. It's an amazing thing. So, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, and what do you think about the team so far? Have you been watching the preseason, or have you pretty much stayed out of it till the home games?
Well, I usually go to spring training. I didn't go this year, but I was following them. It's much too early to get a grasp on the team, and what makes it even tougher is the fact that Carl Crawford has not played yet because he's been injured. Jacoby Ellsbury is going to be out maybe 2 months. So there's 2/3 of your outfield and two big offensive sparks gone
and the pitchers
from the lineup.
Are injured too, Beckett.
And well, Beckett pitched great the other day, but they've lost some people and they've got to replace some people, and so it's too early to get a good handle as to what they need, if anything, and how this team will gel together. Usually about a month it takes before you really get a good handle on things.
Right, and plus there's also the Valentine, Charrington kind of, they're still kind of staking out their territory, so to speak, with the calls they're making. And there was that controversy about having Bard as a starting pitcher, I believe.
Yes, I don't know if I want to call it a controversy. They want to have Bard start, but with the injury to Andrew Bailey, and if they cannot get someone to close the games, they may be forced to make a move.
Right.
And that has nothing to do with talent or lack thereof. It's a question of what they need.
Right.
Now, if Vincente Padilla, and if Alfredo Esteves can fill the bill with some help from Melanson once in a while, that might be enough to get things on the right track. If that's the case, Bard will remain in the rotation.
And plus the other injuries, they're going to come back into the lineup when they're all healed up and ready to go.
Yeah.
So it might be just a temporary stopgap that they need.
Mm-hmm. If you're going to have a problem, have it now.
Right.
not
Plenty
in
of time
August.
to correct it.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for people, kids, teenagers, who are inspired like you were as a child? They're listening and they're watching sports. They hear the voice on the radio or they watch the TV broadcast. I mean, is there more opportunity now, do you think, in the job market for an up-and-coming sportscaster? Should they just keep plugging at it? Is it a different game now than even 10 years ago?
Oh, I think it's a much different game now. It's much more competitive. There are the large markets. You have the large stations, the ESPNs of the world, and places like that, where I guess there are job opportunities. But what has been lost over the past 10, 15 years are the small market stations, the mom and pop stations that would do local sports. That's where I learned. I got a job in 1976 at WARE in Ware, Massachusetts. And this station was big on high school sports. So I did a morning sports cast every morning, and I also did play-by-play for high school basketball. There was like 6 high schools in the area, so I did a lot of high school basketball, boys and girls, baseball, football. Had a lot of experience doing that. And you, in these smaller markets where you can learn how to do stuff, that opportunity is no longer there for the most part, and that's too bad. That's really too bad.
So the expectation now with these bigger networks is you go in and do it perfect or get replaced, because like you said, it's highly competitive.
It is very competitive, and yes, you've got to have something that sets you apart from the rest. Many people believe that the number one thing one has to have to be a broadcaster or a sportscaster is to have this great voice. No. Ambition. Ambition is the thing you need. How big is your want to? That is a question when I talk to students. It's the first thing I ask them. How big is your want to? It means sometimes you get told no.
Right.
If you get told no, the next question you ask is why? Find out what didn't go well. If public speaking in any form is something you want to do, you need a couple of things. One, a good grasp of the English language. That's number one. And number two, you have to have that ambition. The ability to do sportscasting many times is based on think, write, and be curious. Those are the things. If you have those attributes coupled with your want to, I'm a big believer in dreams coming true, because mine sure did. So I can tell you that it can happen. Maybe you have to wait a while. It won't happen at 20. And for me, it was good. I'll tell you what, if I had gotten this job when I was 20, I'd have screwed it up by now. I'd have been fired. I would have acted the fool. I would have went, dig me. No, I got it at 50, and I was ready for it then. And I felt when I got this job, I was properly armed with the right attitude and an appreciation for what this place is all about. I'm not a screamer public address announcer. I don't like screaming public address announcers. I understand that in the NBA and in the National Hockey League, there's a lot of that going around. That's what marketing wants. This is a 100-year-old ballpark. You don't want a screamer. All right, the tradition here was of Sherm Feller, who did this for 26 years. He was not a screamer. The fans don't like screamers. I didn't like screamers. And when I got this job, I was going to, in a way, pay tribute to Sherm Feller by doing it the way he did, because it was the right way. It fits this ballpark. Well, that's what I do.
Right. The next question was, has there been a case here at Fenway when a game has gone totally kaput? Like it's just, there's nothing to say. The Sox have fallen apart. It's ridiculously bad. I mean, how do you handle that? I know you're the PA announcer, but you're also part of the character of the place. I mean, has there been a time when you've really had to think about how you're going to treat this on the way out of the game, just to keep everybody together in the crowd? Because I went to Dodger Stadium a couple times, and even when the Dodgers were doing well in the season, if they even fell behind 2 runs, people started heading for the parking lot. Here I noticed they don't. Here they stick it out for the most part.
They do.
How do you keep that going when the game has just gone to heck in a handbasket?
Knowing that the fans will remain, knowing that there have been times when this club has been down by a lot of runs and came back to win, or at least make it competitive. My job is not as a cheerleader.
Right.
Many public address announcers either are told or choose to become cheerleaders. I'm a reporter. My job is to inform the fans of what's going on, who's up next, what are the changes, things like that. That's my job. And so I will continue to do that, whether it's 18-9 or 1-0. Who's up, who's pitching, or anything else that needs to be said over the public address system.
Well, it's been awesome to talk to you. I really
Thank you.
appreciate you taking the time to do the interview. So, continued good luck.
Thank you. Good luck to you.
And thanks for sitting down with me and talking. It's been awesome. And
Okay.
it's one of the things I'll have the tape, so.
All right, cool.
Thanks very much.
Okay.
Okay. That cool?
Yeah.
All right.
That's great. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the first to admit that this interview is far from polished, but I'm also genuinely appreciative at how open Carl was, telling us his story and giving us some insight into an industry that Davis and I hope to break into soon. Our conversation continued for about half an hour after the tape stopped rolling, and when Davis told Carl he'd been a lifelong Boston Red Sox fan, Carl let both of us try on his 2004 World Series ring, and I even snapped some pictures to commemorate the event. It was like icing on the cake. It was a real honor to meet Carl Beane, and it's a real honor to share that meeting with you. This is Stephen Graff reporting.